What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and today we'll be going over how to UV unwrap this Balmain unicorn sneaker in Blender 3D. Today we'll be going over how to get proper UV textures so that when we import it into Substance Painter, it is properly aligned with everything and it is ready to be textured. Alright, so the first thing that I like to do before I even start modeling, texturing, UV unwrapping is just look and analyze and think through the process before we actually get through. So while I'm looking at this Balmain, there's a few things that I like to know. For example, this right here, let's see. So the easy parts that's going to be easy to UV unwrap is obviously this, and the more complicated parts will be, I want to say, the sole. All right, so once we got the analyzing done, let's go ahead and go to our shading tab. All right, so as you can see right here on the left side, we have our UV editor, we have our nodes and shader tab, and we have our 3D viewport. So before we begin, let's go ahead and start adding textures to all of this. So we're gonna hit new. Let's go to textured right there. All right, so what we want to do is go ahead and create a image. So Control T. This will give you an image texture, mapping, and texture coordinate. Now, if you don't have this shortcut activated, it is actually the Node Wrangler add-on. So what you want to do is just go to your edit, preference, add-ons, and just type in Node Wrangler and make sure that it is selected. All right, so once that is good, we have our image textures on there. Now, one thing that we need to do is go ahead and click the new button. That's perfect. And then instead of generated type, instead of blank, we're gonna go ahead and click UV grid and then hit OK. Now, as you can see, it is giving us a UV tiled pattern. So this is gonna be great so that we actually know how the texture is gonna wrap around each individual piece that we UV unwrap. Go ahead and solo this real quick. Now, there's a few ways that we can do this. So just by looking at this, first thing I wanna do is just select everything, unwrap. So the reason I did this because sometimes it will give you a perfect unwrap how you want it. All right, so what we're gonna do is smart UV, and let's see what it gives us. So this might work. I can see that is a couple things off with it, but for now, this is good. So once we got that first piece, let's go ahead and work on this piece right here. Same principle. We just want to add that same material. We'll rename everything after we're done. So smart UV unwrap. All right, let's go ahead and UV unwrap that again. Let's try just simple unwrap. Okay, so the simple unwrap actually works perfectly. I can see a small little bit of the distortion, but that's okay. Let's see. All right, so let's see if we can get a better wrap. So what we're going to do is go ahead and mark a couple of seams. Let's turn off the modifiers real quick so we can see what we're doing. All right. That's perfect. And then what we need to do is the edges. Let's see how we're gonna do that. Perfect. Let's continue. Let's go over here. We don't want these edges. All right, so once we got that selected, let's go ahead and mark seams. So what this does is just tells Blender where we want our cuts to be. And then we're gonna select everything and then hit unwrap. Let's see. Okay, so this unwrap is a little bit better. That shouldn't be an issue. Let's see. And also, if you would like to follow along with this tutorial, I will be dropping this model inside my Patreon. So go ahead and click the link in the bio in order to access that. All right, so let's continue. So looking at this, you can see a slight distortion right here. The bottom looks okay. So one thing that we could do is let's go ahead and select these edges also. Actually, we won't really need to worry about this because we'll barely see this in the model because this is underneath. That's going to be fine. And then this is also covering it. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to these back pieces. Let's go to material. All right, so unwrap. Okay, see how it looks. All right, so let's try smart UV. All right, perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and work on this piece. Change material. Let's make sure unwrap. See how it looks. Okay, so a few things that we could do because we are getting a lot of distortion on this. So what we're going to do is just mark a couple seams. So we want this one. There you go. Perfect. Also that. We also need this to make that join. There you go. And then let's reselect everything again. Let's turn off modifier so we can see what we're doing. Get these edges. Perfect. And then just get this last one right here. Okay, what we don't want is this to be selected. So We're gonna hit C. I'm just gonna remove those like that. C. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's see what result it gives us. U, mark seams, then A, then we're gonna unwrap. Okay, that did not give us what we wanted. So let's see what's going on here. So we're just gonna go to Smart UV and then change the angle till we find something that we like. Okay, that's 0. All right, so we're gonna leave it at Smart Wrap for now. All right, let's go ahead and move forward. So let's go ahead and work on this section. It's gonna be easy to unwrap. Materials. Let's go to A, U, unwrap. There we go. Perfect, unwrap. It's good. Okay, let's see what this one is working with. All right, U, unwrap. Let's see what it gives us. Okay, not too bad. Okay, it's a little bit distorted. So what we're going to do is close the modifiers, select that one. There we go. U, mark seams. A, unwrap. Let's unwrap it again. Okay, it's not too bad. Make sure everything looks good. All right. It's not a perfect wrap, but it gets the job done. All right, since this is just this piece right here, I'm gonna go to material and AU. Just go ahead and unwrap, and we'll just scale it down. That's perfect. Let's go to the other side and do the same thing. U, unwrap. Make sure we have the right texture, and then just scale it down. All right, perfect. So now that we got the sole complete, also these little buttons right here, let's go ahead and select all of them, and we're gonna hit Control J and join all of them. Hold on, what's going on? Okay, get out of edit mode. There you go. Control J. Now they're all merged together. Let's go ahead and fix this one real quick. All right, so now that we got these unwrapped, we don't really need to have an unwrap on these because they're probably just gonna be a simple material. All right, that's fine for an unwrap. All right, so let's go ahead and convert these noodle strands. So what we need to do is right click them, convert to mesh. Now we can add a material to it, and then what we could do is let's just isolate it so we can see what we're doing. We'll just delete them, make it easier for us, and then fill it up with another face. There we go. Let's do it at the bottom too. All right, so let's go ahead and select these and mark seams. All right, so once we got that first seam, we're gonna do it on the back side, right? Boom, 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 and then we're gonna U, mark seam, and then we're gonna select everything, U, unwrap, see what it gives us. So once we got that, we also need to do the same thing for this side. So let's go ahead and convert to mesh. All right, so once we got those selected, let's go ahead and delete them all, and we just need to add the faces back. Trust me, this will make your unwrap 10 times easier. There we go. Now we just need to select them. So what we could do is boom, 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 then the back side, and then U, mark seam, hit A, U, unwrap. There you go. So unwrap it again, U, unwrap. Object has negative scale, unwrap, da 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 da. All right, so now let's go ahead and do these laces. Same thing, wanna convert to mesh. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and isolate this, and then these two patterns, we're gonna go ahead and delete them. So face, go ahead right there, and then fill it back up. All right, perfect. Now I'll go ahead and select them, and then we wanna do the back side. So let's go ahead and U, mark seam, we want to go to A, then we want to unwrap. Now it does, so if you watch the other tutorial on UV unwrapping the Fear of God sneaker, we ran into the same problem where it was just bunched up like this. So a couple things we could do. All right, let's just look at it. Material, see how it looks. Okay, so the reason we can't do this because it's going to give us problems in Substance Painter. So what we need to do is actually split this up. All right, let's go down here. So we just need to find points where it's not going to be obvious. So let's select them all right here where it's kind of hidden, and then maybe right here too, back here. All right, so U, mark seam, A, U, unwrap, C. Okay, so this gave us a much better unwrap, but let's still break it up. For example, like let's select this. You can't use a shortcut, you gotta go find it right here. Where's it at? Okay, UV, mark seam. There we go. And let's split it right here also. Mark seam, let's UV unwrap it again. Okay, so we need to break this section off again right here. All right, perfect. So now let's look at the unwrap. Now you can see that we are getting a better unwrap in that it's not all the way large. but we are getting finer details. All right, perfect. So now that we got the laces, let's go ahead and work on the Q-tips, which are very simple. Simple unwrap. Got materials. Let's just look at it real quick. So we don't need to do too much. So we could just, all right there. Okay, I don't not like the stretching, so we're just gonna do this manually. All right, you mark seam, unwrap. There we go. Okay, let's look at it real quick. Let's isolate it. Okay, that's a little bit better. Since they're gonna be so far away and so small, it's okay. But on this one, let's try the back side. All right, perfect. U mark seam, A U unwrap. So now that we got that, we got the sole done, everything. Make sure our modifier is turned back on. What section do we want to work on? Let's go ahead and work on this right here. This might be a little tricky, but let's see. No, it's simple enough. We should have a good unwrap. Oh, you know what? That's actually decent. Yeah, that's decent. We'll work with that. So sometimes when the object is very simple, all you need to do is just hit unwrap, especially if you modeled it from a cube. All right. So let's go ahead and this one also. Material, make sure everything is good. Okay, that's fine. Let's go to UV unwrap this. Okay, don't that look funny? All right, so you select everything, unwrap. So we're gonna have to manually do this one, which is okay. It's not a problem. All right, we're gonna select that. Also, you mark seam. I'm going to select everything and then hit unwrap. But you know what? We don't want this front seam. We do not want that front seam. So you actually maybe select the bottom too. See how that looks right there. Might work, it might not, but we were going to just test it out. Sometimes that's all you got to do is just test these things out. See what works, see what doesn't. All right, mark seam, you unwrap. Okay, so let's see how it looks in the context of everything. You know, that is a decent unwrap because majority of it is hidden, so that's perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to these back sections. So like I said, because this is modeled very simple, all we have to do is just hit AU unwrap and we should have a good unwrap. So add the material back. All right, perfect. Let's move forward. All right, let's see. So we need to convert this. We're going to convert it to a mesh. Same thing we did with the laces. I'm going to go ahead and delete the faces, these faces that are triangles. There you go. X. All right, perfect. And all we need to do is just add the faces back. All right, so once we got those filled back in, let's go ahead and select both of them. And then I'm going to select the back side. Oh, where's my mouse at? Okay, there. Perfect. Then we want to U, mark seam, A, U, unwrap. And then let's add a material to see how it looks. Okay, not too bad. Let's move forward. Same little pieces. So we're gonna convert this to mesh. Let's see if we can get away with just unwrapping it. Nope, and it looks funny. Let's smart project. All right, that's fine. That is okay. Now for the letters, what we can do is A, U, unwrap. There we go. That should be fine. I'm gonna go to material. It's perfect. Same thing for these. U, unwrap. Material. There we go. We are almost complete. So same thing for these. U, unwrap, change material. It's perfect. Now this would definitely be easy to unwrap. Just AU unwrap and material. It's perfect. And we're gonna go back and adjust the sizing of these as need be. AU unwrap. Let's go ahead and change the material also. All right, so that's perfect. So now we need to focus is the lace patches and also the tongue. Let me go ahead and hit this last word. AU unwrap, change material. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and work on this. This should be an easy unwrap, but let's see. Okay, perfect, because it's very simple. There we go. AU unwrap, add a material. It's perfect. So that's the good thing about keeping your geometry very low poly. It's very, very easy to unwrap these things. All right, unwrap, change material. All right. Now we also need to unwrap this. This is very simple too. So we're gonna hit AU unwrap, and then we're also going to change the material. All right, perfect. Oh, we missed one word. Let's go ahead and get that. AU unwrap, change the material. All right, perfect. So as you can see, let's go ahead to layout. Actually, let's go to it right here. Just change a couple settings real quick. All right, so as you can see, we have fully unwrapped our model. I know it looks a little crazy, but sometimes you just gotta finesse it. until you get what you like. But overall, this should be ready to texture. Now, before we actually export this, there's a couple things that we need to do to this model. So let's go back to the shading tab. So what we need to do is everything that is mirrored, we need to join them together. For example, this right here, we need to hit Control J. Now, when we hit Control J, you can see that it moved. See how this position is positioned right here? Once we do that, it's moved. So what we need to do is actually go into edit mode, and we need to Alt in and recalculate outside, and that will just bring the object back to where it was placed. So let's go ahead, and that's good. All the names should be in one. That's okay. So go ahead. Okay, we need to join these two right here. Hit Control J. There we go. And then make sure A, want to hit N, recalculate outside. All right, perfect. So what else do we need? Right there. Control J. And hit. There we go. Go ahead and recalculate outside. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and see what else needs to be joined together. So that's good. That is good. Those are good. All right, I don't think we missed anything. So now that we have everything joined, now we can start separating each object by name. So for this, we're just gonna call this. Gonna hit this little icon, the 31 button. So that creates a new material for us. We're gonna call this cage underscore upper. There you go. And then we also need to join these two together. So hit Control J, then tab, recalculate outside. All right, perfect. Everything looks good. So we're gonna call these. We're gonna put con underscore lace. So I know it's just the things that connect the laces together. Underscore reflect one. Perfect. And then we got this. Back underscore lace. Now I know this is very tedious, but trust me, once you have everything organized, it makes your life 10 times easier when you drop it into Substance Painter. So we got back lace and then back underscore lace one. All right, so once we got that, what we could do is just look at it one more time, make sure everything is good. Now what we want to do is go ahead and export this and begin texturing. So that's all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope it was very informational and that you guys at least learned something on how to UV unwrap a complex shoe like this. You know, a lot of techniques, a lot of things that you have to do in order to finesse it to get exactly what you want. So that's all for today. I hope you guys have a blessed week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. All right, guys, have a blessed year.